Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to the Libra Lounge with Keisha. I have a very special guest live in the studio with me tonight, Miss Erica Rose.
Hey.
She is an attorney. You have your own law firm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I love her so much because of the VH1 show, hit show, season one, not season two, season one, dude, season one of You're Cut Off, and you guys may know her from The Bachelor.
Yes. That's
Okay.
true.
So, okay, I have to tell this story real quick. So, whenever You're Cut Off was on, how many times, producer James? How many? I know.
How many times what?
How many times did I watch each episode?
I don't know how many times. It never stopped playing.
So, my daughter
Loop.
is 17 now, and so I told her you were going to be on the show. She goes, "Oh, that's how I learned the word lobotomy." I think it was Jess said something like, "You needed a lobotomy." She goes, "That's how I know the word." I'm like, I can't believe I played it that much that my child remembered that. So we are very excited to have her in the studio. We also want to give a special thank you to Sherry of Classic Bar by Sherry. She's got a new commercial that we're going to premiere tonight. Isn't that right, producer James? Or was that completely wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about?
It's right now.
She still has a special going on. If you mention the Libra Lounge with Keisha, you get $5 off of your first bar class. All right, if you are a fan of the Libra Lounge, you know what time it is. It's time for the gab.
We know she has a really big mouth, which sounds kind of dirty, and that's probably true too. Let's gossip. The gab with Keisha.
Okay, so yesterday we finally got to see Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's newest baby, Sam West. Did you see his picture?
Yes, he is so cute.
He's very cute.
I am obsessed with his name still. I just love it.
So, okay. I think the name is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Saint is the best of the four. And Chicago is by far the worst of the four. I don't know why you would name a baby Chicago. Chicago's dirty, isn't it? Isn't Chicago like windy, bad weather, not like real cute or anything like that? And they named the baby girl.
I personally like Chicago, but both of my daughters are named after places. They're Holland and Aspen, so.
But those are cute names.
And great places.
Yeah. And good places, yeah. Chicago, but I think Chicago is so pretty, and it looks like Sam looks a lot like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the surrogate babies come out prettier somehow.
I was thinking the same thing. And I'm like, how many more children? I mean, you're so wrong for that. Erica said it. I didn't say it. All your babies are beautiful to me.
No, they're all cute.
The last two look a lot like Kim, and
they do.
And Northwest is just like Kanye's twin, you know. But they make pretty babies. They, say dumb shit on Twitter sometimes, but both I was gonna say both the parents are talented. Kanye's talented, but Kim, what do you think about Kim going to law school?
I love it if it really happens because I feel like it makes lawyers seem cooler now.
Because Kim Kardashian
is and so I'm like, yes, it's giving us some like street cred in the Instagram world,
So, okay. 9 times out of 10, if I were in court, it's probably because I did something illegal. And if Kim Kardashian was the other attorney, I just would be like, but I've seen your titties. Like, I saw you having sex with Ray J.
Yeah, I never watched it. I know about
you did
it. I just chose not to watch it. I just don't want to watch it.
You didn't miss much. You really didn't miss much at all. Just a lot of ooh, ooh, ah, ah. That's really, really it. I mean, she got a good dicking down, but, here's my thing. If it weren't for that video, I think Kim Kardashian would still be Paris Hilton's sidekick, or what was she? She was her assistant.
Yeah,
now
she
that
was
I think
doing her
about
closet organizing.
Yes,
I remember.
Yes, and now I don't think Kim Kardashian has to clean up not anything ever again in life. So it was nice to see you. You have beautiful skin tone. You're a cute baby. You look like you've got good hair. You're going to have a great life with 2 crazy parents, but you'll have to want for absolutely nothing in the world, okay? So next up, Jennifer Lopez actually had a concert, and she had her daughter, Emmy. She's got the 2 twins, Max and Emmy, from her ex-husband. What marriage was that? Marriage 25? Was it 25 or 26, James?
I'm not even. Was it with Mark Anthony?
It's with Mark Anthony.
So that was 78 and a half.
Okay, so wait, let me see. I think Mark Anthony was number 3 because it was the very first guy when she was like on In Living Color. And then it was Chris Judd, who was the choreographer. And well, then she was engaged to Ben Affleck. And then she married Mark Anthony. Now she's with A-Rod. Damn, Jennifer, you get around, girl. Like, that is really Jenny from the block. Okay, so she had her daughter, Emmy, come on stage, and they did a duet together. The little girl, I've seen videos of her singing, and she really, really is a fantastic singer. She most definitely got all that talent from her dad, not from her mom. I mean, J-Lo can do a lot, but I don't know why we keep letting her record songs. J-Lo needs to be kind of like a background, like way in the back, actually like an alternative background singer. She's a good entertainer, but singing skills, she just, it's okay. But if you want to be on my show, Jennifer, you can sing on my show. Don't you come on the show. So her daughter, Emmy, looks like she could have a really good future as a singer. She sings better than her mom does.
Really?
Yeah, she does. I'm like, that's all Mark Anthony right there. So something else that happened over the weekend was Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger got married. I still feel some kind of way about it. Well, I said Schwarzenegger, right? You expected me to say it wrong, producer James.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No.
I saw the look in your eye.
Okay.
So these two got married. That just seems like a weird coupling.
I'm a big Anna Faris fan, his ex-wife, so I feel like she can do no wrong. So I'm still mad at him about that. I don't know what happened, but I'm still mad.
They have not said. She was actually at the wedding.
Okay.
Which that's great. Her and her son were there. But it's just like, how did they even meet? Just now?
Hollywood.
Yeah. I don't know. But congratulations.
As long as Anna's cool with it, congrats.
It looks like Anna's good with it, which means she's having good sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if she wasn't having good sex, she would be totally protesting that wedding, talking shit about Catherine. You know, maybe from this, we will have Chris Pratt. What's the character that he plays in the dinosaur movies? What is it, Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Owen.
Owen. Maybe
Something.
Owen and the Terminator will come together to fight dinosaurs from the future past. Write that down. I'm on to something.
I'm so not going to write that down.
I'm on to something. Like how? Okay, so
you know what? I tell you what. We can pitch that to sci-fi. Not
that's okay with
HBO.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
all right.
sci-fi. Yes. Yeah, you know I like a good sci-fi movie. So me, if I were Chris Pratt, there's no way in hell that every time I saw my father-in-law, I would have to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie quote. I can't say it right now. I would be like, I'll be back. And you one ugly motherfucker. What else? It's not a tumor. Give me another one. I'm on a roll. Don't let me down. You're going to let me down.
I don't know any.
Really?
I'm trying to think of one from Kindergarten Cop, but
That was the it's not a tumor.
Okay.
What?
Get to the chopper.
Get through the chopper from Predator. Yes. Every time he would hate me. He'd be like, that son-in-law needs to be fired.
You forgot my favorite quote.
Which is?
Maria, why'd your arm break again?
What the fuck is that from?
His wife, Maria Shriver.
Oh my God. Really?
She's basically a pile of antlers.
Oh, here's another one. Do this one in the same accent.
No.
Maria, I did not have sex with that woman. That boy child is not mine. Do it. Because, you know, he had the kid.
Can't. Oh, my God. That was the worst kept secret ever.
It
As
really
soon as that kid
well,
was
how about the
old
fact
enough
that the
to be-
kid looks just like Arnold with the tan?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, all right. So after this break, we're going to get all in Erica Rose's business. So stay tuned.
The Libra Lounge with Keisha.
All right. So welcome to the Libra Lounge, Erica.
Thank you. Thanks
So
for having me.
when producer James told me you were going to be on the show, I was so excited that I could not possibly display the excitement. So I just played it real cool. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Okay, cool. But then I thought it was going to be a phone call. And when he told me it was in person, I was like, holy shit balls, are you serious? He's like, I'm serious. So what is it like growing up in Houston from a well-known family?
It was interesting. I don't think I realized it until high school.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I was like, I mean, maybe I realized it a little bit like in elementary school, but I was really embarrassed of it. I remember we were on the cover of Health and Fitness magazine, and my mom did an interview that was totally a lie, saying my brother and I love to eat healthy. We didn't like French fries. We only like to eat strawberries or something weird. And this boy at my school made fun of me about it, and I was like traumatized and so embarrassed. So growing up, I think I was really shy, and I was really embarrassed about any type of attention. I thought it was embarrassing that my dad was a plastic surgeon. I don't anymore, but I would lie, like at camp, I would tell people, oh, he's an orthopedic surgeon, or I'd make something else up for some reason.
Right.
So I think I was always really embarrassed about it until probably like high school or college.
Right. Who was it? Posh Spice. She used to be embarrassed of her family and that she was rich. Like they would take her to drop off at school in a Bentley, and she's like, "Can y'all like drop me off like around the corner and I'll walk?" I could not have been born rich. Why are you shaking your head like that, producer James?
Because you're bad enough, like in lower middle class. Like you're already the princess of petty. I can't imagine what you'd be like with some real walking around money.
I know. You couldn't tell me shit if I were, had like real money. It's just like I'd walk around with a tiara on my head, all the time. Okay, so what made you decide to audition for The Bachelor?
Actually, it was my dad's idea.
No.
It was. I had recently graduated college, and I had just broken up with like my longest relationship before my husband. And I was living with my parents. I was like 20, almost 23. And my dad saw it in the Houston Chronicle, and he said, why don't you go and do that? But he really didn't think I would get cast because he felt like it was a long shot. So I went to the audition with two of my girlfriends. One of them wasn't even single, which was funny. And then I ended up getting a call back. I think it was like a few days later, and the producers were still in Houston. And then from there, a few weeks after that, maybe a month, I found out I was in the final 50 people in LA. And then when you're in the final 50, you basically have like made it on the show. They're just kind of like finalizing. I don't even know if it's a final 50, but they fly a select number of people out to LA and for 3 days. And so, yeah, I was super excited.
So once you found out that you were going to be cast on the show, what did your parents say then?
I mean, they were like excited. We knew who The Bachelor was. Sometimes now people audition and they don't know who it's going to be yet.
Okay.
But in the ad, I guess, or whatever, in the Chronicle, it said it's Prince Lorenzo Borghese. So I genuinely felt like, okay, this guy and I could be a good match. I wouldn't have necessarily auditioned for some of the other seasons because I don't think we would have had as much in common. And he's still one of my closest friends, honestly.
Is he married now?
No, he's still single, but he was at my wedding a few years ago, and I excited all my single girlfriends. I'm like, we have royalty coming, get ready. But none of them were smart enough to hook up with him, so he's still single.
Girls, y'all got to trap a prince when you see one, okay?
Exactly.
So what was the audition process? Like, what do you have to do?
I think I always just tell people be yourself, but like a more interesting version of yourself. And so just come and be you, but like turn it on, like ramp it up, have some coffee, do what you need to do, look your best, be excited, have a few drinks, I don't know, and find out like the things that make you interesting and different than everyone else, and don't try to like emulate a character or a person that you've seen on like a previous season, because since I was on the show, they've had me come to a casting in Houston a couple of years ago, and I felt like a lot of the girls were trying too hard, and they were being like a weird version that wasn't even themselves, and so none of them got cast. So it's really obvious if you're like being a fake person, so you can't do that. Just like find out what your quirks are if you have any, and like ramp those up basically. Okay, so bitches, be yourself but better, okay? Exactly. All right, so looking back, do you think that you and Lorenzo would have had a successful marriage together? I think in the sense that we're good friends, and so you should always marry your best friend. My husband and I are best friends. My husband's a Gemini. Lorenzo's a Gemini. So there's that. And they actually get along really well. So Lorenzo really liked him. So I do think if Lorenzo, ever does, he will one day get married because he wants to have kids. But had he have wanted to get married at that point, I do think it could have worked because we are such good friends. I don't know if the sexual chemistry was there. Right. You can find it. You can find it. Yeah. So yeah, it lots of margaritas and a couple of bottles of wine. You can find the sexual chemistry there. Yeah. Okay. So The Bachelor is one of the longest run reality shows. Do you think that it is time to end it? I kind of do. I feel like this season's the first season, and I like her. So it's nothing about Hannah. It's just I'm not that into it. I think Kelly Ripa kind of like, buried it when she insulted it, and then they fought back at her. And I feel like the ratings are slipping, and people are just not that into it. But I'm still going to watch Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, because when it first premiered, I do remember watching it. I think I watched seasons 1, 2, and 3, and then I felt like, okay, it's kind of predictable. The black girl, you're going to get cut the first round.
But now they're keeping them longer.
Yes, they are. So it's kind of like it's very predictable. But I mean, there's some diehard Bachelor fans out there. Yeah,
but it is slipping, I feel.
Yeah,
a little bit.
What would you say are the do's and don'ts when you're filming a reality show?
So one of my don'ts was don't drink too much. Drink a little bit though. Like have a few drinks because you need to loosen up.
Yeah.
But somehow I always was able to find that fine line. I never like couldn't remember anything. I was never that intoxicated.
Right.
I never threw up, which trust me, there was plenty of people doing all that. Getting dehydrated. Yeah. But I felt like there were certain occasions that, they were handing out drinks and you needed to have one to loosen up because otherwise it was stressful. So manage your alcohol levels appropriately. Also, as a girl, make sure that even you come maintain so you don't have to always do your makeup because you're not going to be in the mood to do it. So have your lashes done. It's too hard to maintain a spray tan, unfortunately, but bring self tanner. I don't know what you can do about that. Make sure your hair looks good. It sucks. Back then I was so much smaller because I hadn't had kids yet, but I was constantly having to diet. And I remember before I went on the first season of The Bachelor, the producers encouraged me to lose 10 pounds before I went on the show, and I was pretty small. Yeah, and they didn't say that to everyone, but I did talk to some of the girls who were normal sized girls, not the stick thin ones, and they encouraged them to lose some weight too. Pounds. Yeah, because the camera does add 10 pounds honestly, and they can capture you from weird angles.
Yeah, I'd be like, look, I have my own camera crew here. They know what lighting I need. They know what angles to get me from. I think it is Marriage Boot Camp. Have you heard of that one? Okay. So I know they are not allowed to have their cell phones.
We can't either.
Really? For how long?
The Bachelor's up to 6 weeks. I was there about a month, and then Bachelor Paradise is about 3.5 weeks,
and no cell phones during that whole time.
I remember on Father's Day they gave us one of their phones so we could call our dads, and mine didn't answer. I felt like I was in prison, and it was my one phone call, and I got the chance to talk to a human, and he didn't answer. I'm like, thanks, Dad.
All you have to do is answer the phone. One job, answer the phone. Okay, that would drive me. Well. Maybe now it's worse because I'm a mom, so I need to know.
So they let parents talk to their kids every few days. Okay,
that's good.
I wasn't a parent back then.
Okay.
But I also felt like that's why I'm so close with my friends from the show is that we didn't have all those distractions around. We weren't sitting around on our Instagrams the whole time. So we were forced to have a lot of conversations and get to know each other and interact a lot. Were
there any fights?
Not on Bachelor stuff. Not really, but on my VH1 show, You're Cut Off. Those girls were ghetto for sure. But my season, the season I did of The Bachelor, I felt like they were definitely classier than some of the other seasons because they matched it to a prince. So none of these girls were really fighting.
Okay, yeah, because they were all trying to be prim and proper, to become a princess. So, do you think that the winners of The Bachelor are predetermined by the producers?
I kind of do because after I was eliminated on The Bachelor, they had me stay in Rome for another week and judge another competition on a different episode, but they didn't tell the girls who was judging it. They just said, there were 6 girls left at that point, and they said, someone's in the other room, and she's going to pick the 2 winners to get special one-on-one dates. But I didn't really get to pick. They said, pick Jen and Sadie, and this was when there were 6 girls left, and those 2 ended up being the final 2. Okay. So that's when I first realized, okay, it seems like they're picking the final 2 at this point, It was interesting. So I do think, but of course I feel like if the guy is really into, a girl is really into someone, they do certain things. Like, for example, with Ari's season, he was really into Lauren, but they wanted it more interesting. So I think they encouraged him to pick Becca, knowing that he would change his mind. I really do believe that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so I know you said that you and Lorenzo are still friends. Are you still friends with any of the other girls?
Yes. At least, I'd say 7 or 8 were at our wedding.
Oh, okay.
Girls from my season of Bachelor and also some from Bachelor Pad.
Okay.
So we don't get to get together that often, but when we do, it's so fun.
Well, that's good because I know sometimes you see people on reality shows that are like, no, not at all. I don't accept their requests on Instagram or anything like that. So since now you're a mom of 2 girls,
yes.
What would you say because I'm sure The Bachelor is still going to be on when they're adults.
Right.
If they said, we want to audition, what would you say?
I mean, I don't necessarily know if I would stop them because I'm all about people doing what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I totally feel like my oldest one could be like the Bachelorette. She's just so cute and so pretty and just the best. The baby's really cute too, but she's still a baby, so it's like I don't know her. You know what I mean? I don't know her personality as well. I think they're both gonna have no issues dating though,
right?
And so they should have guys always competing for them, not the other way around.
I agree,
honestly.
So they need to be on The Bachelorette.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay, so when we get back from this break, we're gonna talk about your law career and your cutoff. We'll be right back.
The Leader Lounge with Keisha. The Leader Lounge with Keisha.
Welcome back. Okay, so we have talked about a little bit about your childhood. We talked about you being on The Bachelor. What was harder, law school or being on a reality TV show?
I think it was hard because I was doing them at the same time.
Oh, shit,
so it was just a lot. I look back to those 4 years of law school, and I did it in 4 years because I filmed 3 shows during that time, and it was just like, I don't understand how I did it. I guess because I was in my 20s and I just didn't sleep.
Yeah, we don't have to. Yeah, it's a lot easier when you're in your early 20s.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how did you remember all the stuff you needed to remember for school while you were doing the shows?
I don't know, how I did it. I just did somehow. And then it was just a crazy time period, but fun, but good. It was really fun. I mean, sometimes law school was boring, but at the same time, I felt like it kept me grounded because who knows what I would have been doing if I wasn't in law school when I was filming. I might have just been roaming around LA. That was before the days of being a social media influencer was a thing.
That would have been your thing for sure.
Yeah, I would have had to be a lawyer then, right?
So, what kind of law do you practice? And you also have your own law firm.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
I started my own law firm, the Eric Rose Law Firm, and I have my master's in entertainment and media law. I got that in LA at Southwestern, and so I specialize in that. But that doesn't mean that I only represent people in the industry. Media law covers defamation, privacy, publicity. I also do some sexual harassment, civil litigation, and then I do some family law. Before I started my own law firm, I worked at a pretty well-known family law firm. And I learned so much about it, but I realized I wanted to be my own boss and expand my practice areas too. Most
definitely. So to date, what has been your toughest case?
I think my toughest case was really the first case that I had when I went off on my own, and I didn't expect to get a case in the first few days of starting my own law firm.
Well, damn.
But one of my friends sent it to me because he doesn't do family law, and it was a custody case, and it was really hard because you want to make your clients happy, but at the same time, it's not up to you, it's up to the judge.
Yeah.
And you can't create evidence that's not there, and so it's hard when it's really not in your control.
Yeah.
It's the judge's decision.
Right.
And unless they abuse their discretion, everyone has to accept their decision.
Right. Yeah, and family court is tough. You know what I mean?
It is.
So if you could have go ahead, producer James.
Yeah, family court is tough, but I think so is dealing with corrupt PR firms. For example.
What?
Oh.
Say that again.
What's a
I said, I'm sure family law is tough, but I can imagine a few cases with some corrupt PR firms and things like that you probably dealt with.
So what producer James is really alluding to is that we hired a PR.
Okay.
And after working with her for maybe 2-3 months, we found out that she wasn't doing any of the things she was supposed to be doing. She actually went as far as to have someone pretend to be a local news reporter. Even she would have someone else call. She would have someone call pretending to be someone else. She was supposed to be getting me a proclamation in the city of Houston, which I'm like, I don't need that.
Right.
But she didn't even put in the paperwork. What else did she do?
Did she do anything really?
She worked harder at not doing her job and making us think.
Spent a lot of time and efforts not doing her job.
Yes, and it was very hurtful because it's just you took our money and you didn't do anything, and you were
file a claim against her.
We're not sure what to do.
Was it recently?
There'll be
Oh yeah.
There'll be an entire reaction video.
The last month.
Well, I mean, let me know if you want to do anything about it. You definitely have a cause of action, and there's damages based on what you've paid her. So,
well, did you follow the whole James Charles and Tati goodbye
I
sister?
did.
Okay.
Yes.
So, you know how James Charles came back with all the receipts, I have all of that.
Okay, good.
So I've got like text messages of her talking about other clients and their sexuality, people who may not be gay or who don't want to be out. I've got screenshots of her sending me like bank account information from her other clients.
Girl.
So it's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, she better watch out.
Yeah, I was
messed
just
with the wrong girl.
I think she fucking did, and that's what I told her. So it's just been a hot mess.
Well, come in and see me if you want to. My
Producer
office
James?
is in Greenway Plaza.
Yeah, we're gonna
So come
before
down
you
to
go,
me.
we want to get all of your information so people can know how to contact you, social media, all that good stuff. Okay, so I am a big reality TV fan. Such a big fan that like my friends make fun of me because that's all I watch. There's like maybe 2 or 3 scripted shows that I can actually sit down and watch. But You're Cut Off. What year did that premiere?
2010.
Damn.
I can't believe it was so long ago.
Really?
I feel old, yeah.
I don't feel like it was that long ago.
9 years, girl.
Okay, so that was one of my favorite shows, and you know we had DVR'd all the shows. He knew you don't you don't delete any episode of You're Cut Off, and you don't delete any episodes of That's So Raven because I'm still a 13-year-old child. But we moved,
Yeah.
so it erased.
Wait, are you guys
everything.
married?
Oh yes,
I
that's
didn't
my
know
husband.
that.
Oh
That's so
yeah.
cute. First, I thought y'all were just like best friends, and he was your producer. Then I was like, maybe they're married.
He's my flunky.
Oh, that's so cute. How long have you guys been married?
4 years, but we've been together 11 years.
Is working together, and then you fell in love? That's so cute.
Oh no, we went to high school
Okay.
together, graduated together.
Okay.
And reconnected during our 10-year high school
Oh
reunion.
my gosh.
Yeah,
I love that story.
It seems like he's been around for fucking ever though. It's just like, oh my God. So it deleted all the episodes, and of course, to me, it was all his fault. So did you get cussed out about that?
I don't know if I would classify that as a cussing out, as more of a nuclear napalm, scorched earth, motherfuck you, 18 different ways to Sunday kind of
I was
thing.
really distraught, and you cannot find it on Amazon. You can't watch it on VH1.
I know.
And if I YouTube it, it's just like maybe 5 minutes of a show. I'm like, I can't
My
live
husband's
like
sad
this.
because he hasn't been able to watch it.
It's
It's not on demand.
no, nothing. And I'm tired of living that life without watching the
Yeah,
episodes
I should
again.
I should find a way to make them do it.
Can you make that happen for me?
I'll try.
Please. I mean, just, I don't know.
You should.
Yes, I still look, like once a month, I still see if I can find it somewhere. And I'm like, God damn it. Okay.
Cute.
So if you're not familiar with the show, basically, there's a group of ladies, y'all were all in your 20s, right?
We were.
Who were princesses, basically. They were spoiled, and their family sent them to kind of like a what was it, a princess recovery boot camp or something like
Yeah.
that. And you guys are really stripped away of everything, no money. Okay, I have to ask you, when they told you you could only take certain items that would fit in that bag, I remember you were the last bitch out there, okay? So what was going through your head?
I was like, okay, since I had already done The Bachelor at that point, and all the girls were like, I better run in to get like the best bed. And I'm like, you don't really sleep a lot on reality shows. And that's like the least of my concerns. Like I really needed to take time to like not just throw stuff in, but like coordinate my outfits.
You did that.
I was like sitting around and coordinating it, like matching the shoes, matching the hats, matching
You had
my
champagne
purses.
glasses that went in with you too. I remember that. I was
So
like,
we had to coordinate. I spent so much time like shopping and preparing. I'm like, I mean, it was kind of nice in a way to consolidate because I definitely brought too much. So I really did a great job. And actually, it was annoying. The girls were like borrowing my stuff the entire time. Since
even the bitches that didn't like you?
Yes, because they didn't do a good job coordinating their outfit.
I would have like, but you just tried to cuss me out. You're not going to borrow my shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are, it starts off, you guys are each shopping, and then you go to pay for your stuff, and your card is declined.
I know. I remember being so embarrassed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I was like, this can't be happening, and I told him maybe your machine is broken.
You did. I remember that.
Like,
yes.
Crazy.
And I think, who was it? Jacqueline was like, can someone call my dad? And Gia was like, wait, no, it's your machine because I've got plenty of money in my account. See, I remember.
I know. So was that like 100% legit?
So, I mean, our cards weren't really declined. They had, but we didn't know at the time, but they had set it up with like the store people to tell us that. So, I mean, we had, I think at that point I still didn't know exactly what was going on. I just literally thought my card wasn't working. But I did see the other girls because, I mean, we were all in the mall, but we were like being kept separately. But I could tell, oh, that girl, I remember seeing Jackie actually and being like, she's on the show, she's cute. Because they each had like a person, a producer with them and like a camera. So it's like you knew these were the other girls. But they coordinated it like after the store incident. They're like, okay, stay here. And they're like, okay, go down the escalator now. And they were timing it so that we'd all head to that like common meeting area at the same time. And we still didn't really know what was going on at all until the life coach Laura Barron appeared to tell us. And after that point, they actually made us sign new contracts with the show because our original contract said we were appearing on a show called The Good Life, which I thought like from a standpoint of someone that had been on a reality show before and watched a lot of them, I was like, this is going to be kind of a boring show. Like, when it was The Good Life, they're like, it's kind of like The Hills, but like you're going to be showing off your extravagant life. And I remember being worried, like, how much money am I going to like spend during this process to like show off my lifestyle? Like, you know, and they're like, well, don't worry. There's going to be some type of different element to it, but we can't tell you what. And I do remember one of my friends, his name's Jeremy, saying, oh, it's going to be like The Simple Life, or, you know, you're going to get something. He had a feeling and he was right about it. And I was like, no, that's already been done. There's already been The Simple Life. You're so wrong. Like, no, I don't believe it.
So let's take me, for instance. If I had been in a store and my car was declined, I would be on the phone yelling at my husband. Like,
but they took our phones.
You didn't have
your
phone.
So we couldn't do that at that point.
Oh, because that would have messed it up.
Yeah, exactly. So they had already taken our phones.
And then, so when you're in the room where all the girls kind of congregate, there's a screen and each one of your relatives or your parents is on there telling you what's really going on, that you guys are cut off. There's no more money, no more nothing. Your life is totally different. And I remember your mom was so cute with hers. Like, some of the other parents like, you need to start watching your money. And your mom's like,
because I don't think my parents really felt like they had that much to complain about. Actually, originally they wanted my dad to say he was cutting me off. He told me this later on, and he refused to, because in his opinion, I definitely did not need to be cut off. I was like in law school and like, you know, working to an extent of like filming these shows and getting paid for it, and like I really didn't like have a spending problem, honestly. Like I wasn't like some of them were like, I remember Jess's mom was like, you're in debt and you're like running our family under the ground into debt, and like nothing like that was happening, so they didn't really have that much to complain about with me.
You were like, look, my parents real rich, bitch. We ain't got nothing's going on. Okay, so when you guys get to the house, you got into some shit the very first night, you and Gia.
She was just weird. I felt like she had a very negative energy towards me, and like I like, because I'm like into that kind of thing, I sense energy a lot, and so I just felt like a very negative vibe from her right away, and I didn't like it, so I wanted to address it and bring it up, and I was hoping we could resolve it.
About her being Middle Eastern, and she just got
because I'm Jewish, and so I felt like maybe it was our ancestry that wasn't getting along.
But it straight pissed her off.
But I don't know why. I mean, that's her heritage. It's my heritage. Being Jewish, they're equally popular / unpopular. So she's no more of a minority than I am, to be honest, in terms of our religions. So I don't know why it made her so bad. I feel that you should be proud of where you came from and not mad about it. So that was weird to me.
I think that she just did not vibe with you, so I don't think it would have mattered what you had said. She was gonna be pissed off. Okay, so the first night comes, you guys get your those rooms just the fern
and I ended up in a room with Gia and the people I didn't like because I spent so much time coordinating
your outfits.
So I would have rather been in the other room, honestly, but at the same time I'm happy I still did that.
Erica, you kind of cheated a little bit too, because you started putting clothes on top of clothes on top of clothes, but that would have been me. And you're like, but I'm gonna need this, I'm gonna need that. I'm like, Erica, I don't think you need that champagne glass, but go ahead. Is that a champagne bottle that you okay, so you guys get in the first night, then you start your challenges. So the funniest challenge to me was when you guys had to clean Omarosa's house.
Oh yeah, and that was the one that I didn't like and I didn't do.
You and Gia, now y'all came together on that because neither one of you did it. Y'all wouldn't even put on the goddamn uniforms.
They weren't actually. We sneakily did try them on off camera, and they were really not cute.
No, they weren't flattering to
if
anyone shape
cute,
at all.
We would have worn them. Like if they were like little French maid costumes, like we totally wouldn't have cleaned, but we still would have worn that outfit. But they just really made us look bad, and we were like, we're not wearing this. So I think we sat in like her jacuzzi, which wasn't even warm.
Because that's when when Omarosa saw y'all, and
she got mad.
She got pissed off. Well, the funniest thing was when Jess was cleaning something and she thought it was vomit. And she's like, "Is that vomit? It's vomit. It's vomit." And I'm like, "Oh, God, that would have been me." Okay, so I have to ask you this question because Omarosa has been on.
See, I had met her before that.
Oh, you had?
Yes, we had met after I was on The Bachelor. We went to a party at the Playboy Mansion. It was like a fashion show, and we were seated by each other, and we were friendly. And so that was also part of the situation is I felt like it was disrespectful to ask me to clean someone that I knew house. But not only that, I just hate to clean. Like, I don't even clean my own house. So I'm certainly not going to clean someone else's for that matter. Like, to this day, I don't even clean.
Do you know somebody like that, Producer James?
Somebody that doesn't quite partake of the, let's say, domestic arts.
Yeah, he does the laundry. He cleans up. I don't do floors.
That's how I am. I don't mind cooking though, but my husband knows when I cook, it's going to be messy, and he needs to clean afterwards.
My thing is like, you have an option. I can cook and fuck up the whole entire kitchen, or I cannot cook, and we can figure something out. So, okay, I have to ask you this, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But Omarosa has been on other shows. In every show she's on, someone says something about her having bad breath. Is that true?
I don't think I noticed it.
Really?
Because that's the kind of thing I would probably remember because I'm really into smells. Like if there's a bad smell, it's gross to me. But I don't remember noticing it.
Okay, because she was on
luckily
like 2 other shows, and I'm like, oh my God, her breath. And I'm like, is it really that bad? Does she have like gingivitis or something like that?
She probably does. But luckily I didn't she got pretty close to me, and I don't remember noticing it, luckily.
Okay. So you did not, that wasn't the only challenge that you didn't participate in. That was just the first of a couple, right?
Yeah, I did participate after that more so. That was just one I really just wasn't into.
Right. Okay, so I have to ask you, do you still get Botox in your armpits so you don't sweat?
So I still get Botox, but I haven't done it in my armpits in a while, honestly, and I probably should. I don't really sweat that much, but maybe I sweat more. Back then it must have been more of an issue because I remember doing it in case I was wearing like a silk shirt, which I had this like cute pink one, and I didn't want to like sweat, but I don't feel like I sweat that much.
No, I don't remember you. I don't think you did a lot of stuff to sweat.
I do work out now. I just don't sweat that much, so I haven't really had to do it again recently.
Producer James, you have a question?
What is curious? How effective was that? Did it really?
It was very effective. Like I don't even think I had to wear deodorant really after that, at least for the 6 months or whatever that it lasted.
Damn.
So I should probably do it again.
No, I'm not thinking for you.
For me, I sweat really bad all the time, especially on my face.
See, that's the thing is, so I get Botox here, so my face never sweats. But I feel like the place I sweat when I work out is between my boobs.
That's just kind of, when you're
they don't like sweat to the point where they like show in my shirt, but they get like sticky and gross.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
My face is the worst place that I sweat, and it's embarrassing. So I've actually considered, getting Botox for that reason. Okay, so do you caught a lot of heat from the other girls. Do you keep in touch with any of them?
The funny thing is, guess who invited me to her wedding?
Jess.
Yes.
And she just got married.
She just got married.
Because we're Facebook friends.
Oh, that's so funny.
What about you and Leanne?
So she goes by Kukla.
Right, Kukla Leanne.
Why, but she does. But we did hang out when I lived in LA. We hung out like a lot.
Okay.
And we do now that I don't live there anymore. Like, of course, I invited her to my wedding. She didn't come, but we were good friends when I lived there for many years.
So let me see. From the cast, you've gotten married. Jess has gotten married. Jackie's gotten married.
Yes.
And
I met Jackie's. So Jackie and I were really good friends for like a year or two after the show, and we still keep in touch. But I met her now husband. I loved them together. They were together for like 7 years. I think I got engaged before her, and I'm like, girl, when is he gonna propose to you? Like it's time. So I was like,
I know
really
that
happy.
feeling. When you're dating somebody forever.
See, not
ever,
me. Well, not with my husband. We got engaged after 2.5 months of dating. It was like The Bachelor all over again. But we knew we were like you guys, where we didn't go to the same high school, but we knew each other and we're in the same crew of friends in high school. He was my best friend's date to our junior prom, and then she ended up dating my date, and then she was the maid of honor in our wedding.
Oh, how funny. Keep it all in the same little circle.
Crazy. We have a picture from that night, and it's so funny because in the picture it's like me and my like punk date, and then my friend Brittany, and then him, and then my friend Brittany. And it's like if you cut out the two people in the middle, then we would be together. But like we totally did not look like we should be together back then.
Usually those are the people that you end up with is someone, because people are still shocked the producer. Hell, you were like, are y'all married? I'm like, yeah.
First it was
we just don't look like we would be married to one another, but someone has to put up with my crazy ass.
That's how I am, but my husband's just as crazy, so it works.
So, okay, so you don't keep in touch with Chrissy.
No, I never kept in touch with her, really.
So it was so funny because I'd read on a couple of blogs that she wasn't even rich.
Yeah, I know. I think she had like a boyfriend that a sugar daddy. I remember. She was really pretty. I remember thinking that. She like her body was so good. She was super pretty. But yeah, she had a sugar daddy, I guess. Which was interesting. And Leanne did too.
I want a sugar daddy. I mean,
I know, right?
But I want one that's on an oxygen tank, 99. He's going to die like immediately after he signs everything over to me. You know, that kind of, I'm talking Anna Nicole Smith and that billionaire guy. That's what I'm looking for. So, yeah, Chrissy was unlikable.
She was.
She just wasn't just.
I think that's why she got eliminated.
Yeah, and then she always wore those funky floral dresses. It was just like, ugh, what is really going on? And those church curls in her hair, and yeah. So you and Gia.
So Gia and I did reconcile. Like after the show, she used to own this hookah bar in Los Angeles in Sherman Oaks, and it was almost like smoking the peace pipe. Like she invited me down to her hookah lounge, and my best friend who's gay came with me, and
because you have to have a gay friend when you're smoking hookah.
Exactly,
like, everyone knows that.
And I remember she had all these girls from the show The Bad Girls Club there too. Like, do you know
really?
Natalie?
Yes,
she was there, and some other girls that like went on to do like 100 seasons of Bad Girls Club and whatever they did after that.
That is not your crowd of people.
No, it wasn't my crowd, but I liked Natalie actually. We like kept in touch and became friends after that. She was cool, but. Yeah, so Gia and I were friendly after that. I mean, we weren't really like good friends, but it wasn't like animosity. It was still there.
Yeah. During the whole process, I think probably changed you the most but then she started to reveal a lot about, postpartum and, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think it was just so crazy because, I mean, she's only a year older than me, but after being a mom, it really changes you so much.
A year older
than me? I was 26 at the time and she was 27. She looked older, but also she did. I mean, I get it. Going through pregnancy is a lot, you know, and so I think that it was just such a difference. Once you're a mom, I didn't, we would have been better friends now that we're both moms, I think.
And I think she got a divorce too.
She's gotten divorced since then.
Yeah.
I don't really keep in touch with her or anything like that, but I knew that she got divorced. I felt bad for her because her husband seemed nice.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
But
you might have just had enough. But
probably.
Hopefully she'll
she
find
was definitely super bitchy, but she looks really, she's really pretty, but she was
you have to be
bitchy.
pretty if you're going to be bitchy. You cannot be ugly and bitchy. It doesn't work like that. Two negatives? No, it just doesn't work. Okay, so have you kept in touch with Courtney?
A little bit, like we're Facebook friends.
Okay, let me see. Who am I missing?
There was Amber.
And I liked Amber.
Yeah, randomly I was watching, like, there was the show Southern Charm Savannah, not like the main Southern Charm, and Amber, like, appeared on an episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like a friend of one of the cast. And so
okay.
But I keep it up with her on Facebook. She's still single.
I always thought she was a lesbian.
She might. I mean, maybe because she's still single.
I mean, no, really. Even during the show, I'm like, I have pretty good gaydar.
And I was thought that, but I mean, it makes sense.
I was like, I think she's a lesbian. She just hasn't like come out
to
the world.
She's come out to herself if she is. She was like just kind of asexual. I felt
like. Okay. Yeah. So, do you still consider yourself a Jewish American princess?
Now I'm definitely a queen because my two little girls are the princesses of their family. Okay. And like if you see me with them, I'm like their servants basically.
Yeah.
I mean
motherhood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean I'm like wiping their butts, like doing whatever. Besides I'll clean up after them that way. I'm just like not going to like take the trash out or
I'm like I wiped an ass already today. I think I'm good. I shouldn't have to do anything else.
2.5-year-old is not potty trained yet. And I'm like, girl, I'm sick of wiping your butt. Like, you need to get potty trained.
It'll happen.
It's time.
I think it took me about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks to potty train my daughter. I mean, she's 17
hard to
now.
potty train.
It's not fun because you're gonna clean up some shit and piss, during the process.
No.
Do you think you'll ever do reality TV again?
I do, but the next time I do it, I would like to executive produce something, and I have ideas and concepts in mind. I have to get my mommy makeover first.
I'm getting one next year.
You are?
And the baby is 17, but I'm getting one next year.
Well, there's never too late.
No.
What are you going to do?
I want to so I need to lose 80 to 100.
Okay.
And after that, I want to get a tummy tuck, a boob lift, and then I want to get lipo on my arms.
Mm-hmm.
But if for some odd reason I became like super rich, I want everything from chin to toes done. Like, I think I deserve it. And so when you're creating those reality shows,
come see my dad, girl.
You
won't operate on me, but
you can operate on me. And if you have a reality show, I think I make a good sidekick.
Yeah,
I'm
the
just
Libra
saying.
and the Aries. We're the opposites. What sign is your husband?
Pisces.
Interesting.
Yes. He
is he very sensitive? You're very sensitive.
Yeah.
Pisces
yeah.
are. And if they're mad, watch out.
Yeah.
Or not? Is that you?
He doesn't get mad very often.
I don't have to. I have her. She's my samurai pit bull.
Yeah.
Well, he calls me a verbal samurai. So what was the best and worst experience of being on TV?
I guess just the best was like the fun times we had. There were so many fun times. It's hard to like name them all, but I think it was just such a fun thing to be doing. I'm glad that I did it before I was married.
Right.
When I was in my 20s, I had so much fun just filming a bunch of shows. I lived in LA after law school, and I could just be myself and like focus on myself and just have so much fun because I didn't have kids. I didn't have anyone else to be responsible to. Yeah. And so I could act however I wanted. It's like I wasn't embarrassing anyone.
Right.
My parents didn't care. They were laughing and thinking it was funny. So that was the good thing about it. But I guess the worst part about it was there were so many people that were just laughing with me and realizing I was, being ridiculous on purpose, as were like most people,
Right.
But the worst part was people that weren't like savvy enough to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I moved to LA for a little bit. Is there everyone totally got it, and they were like, "Oh, you're so funny." I had like acting coaches come up to me and they're like, "I loved it," Whereas here, like I had people talk badly about me to like my brother.
Oh wow!
Or even my mom got like literally a hate mail, but this was after The Bachelor, like over 10 years ago, when people like sent mail instead of like hate emails.
What would they need to say?
Telling her that she did a bad job raising me since I didn't know how to make a bed. And my mom's like, I taught you how. And I'm like, Mom, you shouldn't take these people seriously.
Not at all.
Obviously, this person's like a loser with way too much time on their hands.
Nothing to do in the world.
Seriously.
I mean, I know how to make a bed. I just don't
choose
do it.
not to.
Yes, I just don't.
I can clean. I just don't want to. It's boring. I don't have time for it.
Yeah, and I'm almost 40, and I still feel that way. I'm like, no.
What's the point of it? You're just going to unmake it the next day.
I'm like, Southern Charm's about to come on. Chrisley Knows Best is on afterwards. I don't have time.
I love Southern Charm.
It's so good. It's
I
so
feel
juicy.
like if I could be on any show, I would love to be on Southern Charm. I love Cameron because she's a mom too, but also Vanderpump Rules. I know Sheena. We're not good friends, but I'm friends with her. We used to be friends, I should say. I still have her number, but I think that they're just having so much fun, and a lot of them are like my age or older, but they're still just like running around like having way too much fun. Yeah, don't you think so?
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, we were having this conversation earlier because I think what law changed about an age? What was it?
Oh, in Texas, they signed Senate Bill 21, which makes the minimum age for buying cigarettes 21, effective September 1st.
We were always smoking, unfortunately, in high school. I don't smoke at all. I always said I'll quit when I'm pregnant, and I did, and I never smoke again. And I always knew that.
And that's exactly what I did.
But that is how I stayed skinnier.
It does help.
Seriously.
It does help. I was telling him, I'm like, I think that people should not get married or have kids until they're 30.
I do too.
Yeah. I'm like, 20s should be about
young.
Education, traveling, having fun, figuring out who you are.
Right.
Your frontal lobe finally closes at 25, you know.
That's true. I definitely, like, I have a law clerk right now. She finished her first year of law school, and she's 23, and I think of her as, like, so young. But I'm like, I was that young once, and a lot like her in certain ways. But it's a huge age difference.
Yeah. How old are you now?
36.
Really?
I just turned 36, and I decided for the first time that I'm just going to stay. Even though I am saying this and I still tell people my true age, I'd rather just be 35 still, because I just feel like it sounds nice. It's a nice, like, round number, and 36 is like climbing up to 40, and I just don't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
So 35 was good. I probably will just stay 35 and should start lying now, even though I can't really lie because you can Google it and like see my age on the internet.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just going to keep aging.
Look, I don't care what the interwebs say. I know when I was born, okay? And I'm 35.
Exactly.
So was there ever a misconception about you from the reality shows that you've done?
I do think that people didn't realize that I was intelligent, even though I'm an attorney now, because I'm not like pseudo-intellectual. If I felt like acting like that, I could. And I can sit around like using legal jargon and really big words and acting like very uppity if I felt like it, but that's just not my personality.
Right.
I think you can still be like a fun-loving person and be smart at the same time, and you don't have to like constantly show off that you're smart.
Right.
So
I agree.
think that was a misconception, and you know, I don't think until I like became an attorney, even though I was in law school, until I passed my bar exam and like I have my own law practice, even today, like so I ran into someone. She's like, oh, I didn't know you were a lawyer. I knew you had been on The Bachelor, and I thought you were just a mom. And first of all, you can't ever be just a mom because it's such a hard job. But yes, I'm also a lawyer, you know. And so I
hate that women still say that, just a mom. Like, you're responsible for a human, like a person.
And like I'm responsible for 2 humans. I'm still like really impressed with myself. Thank God that I'm like keeping them like alive. And,
yes, exactly.
Like,
another day went by and the child is still alive. I'm doing good. Yes.
I'm really proud of myself.
Yeah, every now and then my mom would say something like, look, I've kept this child alive for 17 years. Give me my props, woman. Give me my props. Okay, so Erica, I really am just so super stoked that you came down here to do the show. Please tell the Libra Launch audience how they can follow you on social media, what upcoming events you're going to be at, and any and everything about you. Go.
Okay, so if you want to follow my law firm, it's at Erica Rose Law, and me is at Erica the Rose on Instagram and on Twitter, and you can even follow my kids; they're on there too.
Oh, how cute.
Colin
and Aspen.
Yes, their name. If I have a boy, he's going to be named Kingston.
Kingston, cute.
Even I don't really like that place. I just love the name King.
Kingston, yeah, and the nickname is King. Yes,
Exactly.
yes, exactly. All right, and so if anyone is in the need of you as an attorney, how can they contact you?
Contact www.ericaroselaw.com or erica@ericaroselaw.com, or just Google Erica Rose Law Firm. You'll have my law firm phone number. I'm located in Greenway Plaza.
And whenever we upload this video, we'll make sure to put Erica's information on there. If you want her phone number, slide me $100 bill and I might give it to you. I'm just kidding. So we will be back and I will award the Bitch Please of the Week. Thank you.
The Libra Lounge with Keisha. The Libra Lounge with Keisha.
Bitch, please. You be rolling down the street, telling stories. Bitch, you never tell the truth. Bitch, please. Everybody know you lying, bitch, cause all you do is lie.
Welcome back to the Libra Lounge with Keisha. I have another special guest in the studio with me tonight. Some of you may know her as Titty Pool Mom or Booby Mom or that chick who had her titties out at the water park. But her name is actually Misty Dojero. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I said it right. Okay, I've been practicing like all day. Okay, so everyone in Galveston County, Harris County, probably I'm thinking it's going to be probably nationally is talking about your story.
It's there.
Okay, so in case you've been hiding underneath a rock and you have not heard her story, Missy was at a Texas City water park at the Nestler Center, correct?
Yeah, Nestler Aquatica.
She was there with her. How old is your baby?
He's 10 months.
10 months old. What's his name? Max?
Max.
And you were there with 2 3-year-olds as well?
They're 4. They're
4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Okay. So she was at the Texas City water park and her baby got hungry. What time were you guys there?
About 4:45, almost 5.
Okay, that's getting on at dinner time. I'm hangry around that time of the day. I need to eat something. Her baby was hungry. It was time for him to feed. And do you breastfeed exclusively?
No, he eats solids,
Okay.
but he does not take a bottle.
He doesn't take a bottle.
Right.
Okay. So Misty, like, if my kid who's 17 is hungry right now, I'm like, okay, we got to feed this bitch. I'm not going to deny her food because then, she start acting a fool. And, so her 10-month-old baby is hungry and Misty starts to breastfeed him. Were you inside of the, or where were you?
Yeah. So there's like a little play area. The kids climb up and then they slide down.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like a little off from that. I think it's
Okay.
like 1 foot of water I was sitting in. I wasn't like completely under the water, but I was sitting in the water. The boys had to be in arm's reach.
Okay, right.
Even with life jackets on, if
Oh,
they
yeah.
get caught under, like I have to pick them
Yes,
up.
of course.
So yeah, I was sitting there, and and I had a small slit in my bathing suit, like a peephole.
Yeah, I saw your bathing suit.
Yeah,
Yes, I
like
saw
it's
that.
like a little peephole there, So I just shifted it over to the right side and exposed one nipple, and he latched on like naturally,
Right.
And that's when a little lifeguard came from behind me and was like, "Ma'am, are you breastfeeding?" And of course I turn around and I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
No, I'm doing kiddie porn. What the fuck do you think I'm doing? Yes, I'm breastfeeding my child.
Yeah.
And so, so these lifeguards, I'm going to assume they are probably high school kids or early 20s.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't know anything about life.
Right.
Probably
Exactly.
why he asked you, were you breastfeeding when he saw a baby latched onto your breast. Okay, so you're feeding your baby. The lifeguard comes over. He asks you if you're breastfeeding. Then what happened?
Yeah, I tell him, "Yeah, I am." And he says, "Ma'am, you can't do that here. This is a public pool." Yeah, definitely.
So when he said that, did he say, "Ma'am, you cannot breastfeed here. This is a public pool"? Or did he say, "Ma'am, you cannot have your breast exposed. This is a public pool"?
No, you cannot do that here. This is a public pool.
Okay, so then from there, what happened?
So then, of course, I, stood my ground, and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I definitely can. Maybe you need to go ask somebody."
Right.
Thinking, like, surely the manager knows better.
Yeah.
It's going to dismiss him and tell him, "Please leave her alone," or give her some space,
Right.
or absolutely she can breastfeed. But that's not the reaction I got from her either.
Was that the African-American female?
Yes. Yeah.
What did she say?
Oh, she came, and she come over there and she's like, "Ma'am, are you breastfeeding?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And she's like, "No, ma'am, you can't do that here." And I said, "Oh, well, absolutely, yes, I can."
So why did she say you could not breastfeed there?
So I did hear I heard on her body
Gosh,
cam.
that body cam
I
video.
heard on the body cam that their policy says you cannot be exposed.
Okay.
So maybe she was clearly not educated on the difference between having your breast out for the purpose of breastfeeding
Right.
and going topless.
Yeah, there's a big difference. And let's just, I'm going to be the asshole here. Y'all were in Texas City.
Uh-huh.
You can't tell me that Texas City has not seen every kind of ass cheek out, coochie hair from the back, tattooed titties, any and everywhere in Texas City. You got people walking around with no shoes on at the, what's the grocery store chain there? Kroger? Dollar Tree? Okay, I find it so hard to believe that you, a mom, breastfeeding your baby was just so offensive to these people that I know goddamn well they have seen everything. That woman, the manager, her hair was offensive to me. I didn't like it. No, I would have been like, "Please give me a minute to go back, redo this, call my stylist to come hook me up before I get on camera." She was a hot fucking mess. So I watched the video of the officer, and actually producer James and I were talking earlier today. It seems like there was just a case of ignorance all the way around.
There's not a better word for that.
Yeah. Like the lifeguards, I'll say this. I'll give the lifeguards
the benefit of the doubt
pass this time.
Yes.
Only because it's a summer job. They're probably young, had no idea what's going on. He was probably trying to look at your titty. But the manager and the police officer, that was ignorant.
They should have known better.
Yeah, and then they were actually asking each other on the video, "Do you want her to leave? Do you want her to leave? She doesn't have to leave. But do you want her to leave? No. What, now you want her to leave? She's got to leave."
It made no sense to me that they put the power, the officer upholds the law, the manager manages the pool.
Right.
But you guys totally dismissed that and gave all of the power to the young
Lifeguard. Right.
So then why did we call anybody in the first place?
I don't know, but my husband and I he was like, "Well, the officer doesn't know. What could he have done?" I said, "Well, I don't know. Call headquarters and say, can someone open up a law book and see what the law is?" Which, producer James, you have exactly what the law states.
Yeah, the law is painfully and simply clear. it says a woman is authorized to breastfeed any place a woman is authorized to be.
Yeah.
Which means anywhere.
Yes.
I think I've seen bitches at strip clubs breastfeeding their babies on their break. I mean, you're feeding your child. There's nothing sexual. There's nothing offensive about it. You know, we were even talking about, like, if I had a baby right now, if I were in the same situation, for me, it would have been, I would have probably brought a bottle, because I don't want anyone seeing my 40-year-old saggy titties. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to take that risk. They would have been like, ma'am, for the sake and the love of God, put them away.
Right.
But that's just me. But I didn't exclusively breastfeed my baby. I mean, I had to pump and give her the breast milk.
Yeah, I did with the first. I pumped with the first. With the second one,
just won't do it.
He just won't do it.
And some babies are like that.
And it's just not, I mean, it's almost about, okay, do I stop feeding and make you take a bottle? Do I cut you off from the breast? Or do I do what makes you happy and healthy?
You do what makes them happy and healthy, you know?
Absolutely.
So I felt my heart really broke for you. And I have a very cold, bitter black heart. But it actually started to melt and cry for you when I saw you crying, because you were by yourself.
I was by myself, and I never go by myself.
And the one time
I go by myself. And we had just came from, going off-road out of park. We were at an off-road park. And so we came in from out of town, and my husband's like, you know what, I'm going to take a nap. So we were at my mother-in-law, so I was like, well, then I'm going to take the boys to cool off, burn some steam,
Yeah.
And I mean, my intentions were not to go to the park to cause a ruckus.
Right.
You know what I mean? I need the less attention as possible. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Just let me
enjoy. You've got 3 little kids.
I have 2, but 3 with me that day.
3 with you that day. I would have been like, hell no.
At one point, I was thinking, this is a bad idea. This is a really bad idea. Because I'm so, like, vigilant.
Yes.
Like, the water scares me in general. That's why they had life jackets on, because like, you trip and fall and you're getting
drowned. I mean,
I
tell, like, my
those
friends
creatures
make
are
fun
fast.
of me.
Those creatures are fast.
Everyone makes fun of me because I hate water parks. And
the
anxiety. Like, why? I'm like, the anxiety of all those people and water. It's too much for me. I cannot do it.
Like, how do you keep up, right?
Yeah, I'm like, and my child's damn near grown. She's 17. I'm like, you're not old enough to do that. Okay, so you were crying and trying to, how embarrassed were you that a cop is coming over there to you, telling you to leave?
I couldn't, I was more mad at myself because I couldn't get my words out.
Right.
Like, I wanted to, like, I was stumbling my words, and I couldn't even get my words out, and and I felt defeated at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to argue with the police, because I'm like, if you push the issue with him, he easily could have found a loophole and arrest your ass. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And
then
I'm like, you've got the kids, all the kids there.
And then my kids are screaming and crying, and oh gosh, so and my brother-in-law is the sheriff. So to have, like, for them to shine a bad light on an officer would have not have been good, So this is the only reason I really didn't stand my ground with the officer, because I'm like, this man's gonna arrest me, and I got my baby on my hip, and my toddlers are right here. It wasn't worth it at that point.
Right. But yes, you could tell that you were completely defeated. I felt so bad for you. I'm like, was there not another mom somewhere around that was like, hey, we saw what happened. She's just breastfeeding her baby. Did no one come to your defense?
No one knew what I was doing. That's the big point. Like, no one even knew. For people to say my breasts were exposed, or that I was making a scene, or cursing out all the staff, how come nobody even knew what was happening?
Girl, they act like you were out there showing your titties, shaking them, putting milk all over them, shaking them, and everything. Like, all the internet thugs have been out today with a different story. I'm like, but did you say that to her face?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I can tell you what, I was majorly concerned about your eyelashes, because they looked so good. But I'm like, oh my God, she is going to cry one of her lashes off. Like, I was
they're extensions. They're extensions.
They're going to get loose, and one's going to come out. She's going to have to make an appointment tomorrow to get that one replaced. I was just like, boy, that bitch's eyelashes look really good, though. I'm like,
when you're a mom, if this is the only thing I can do in a day is have lashes on, that's where I go with. I'm like, it's raw and uncut. This is me on a day.
You looked cute. So the next day comes, and you've got protesters out there.
Yes.
So were they at Texas City Hall, or were they at the Nestler Center?
We were at the Nestler Center.
And how many women?
Over 20. And I didn't know not one single woman there. None. I mean, I had a lot of friends reach out, but not one of those moms that were there did I know.
Right. Because, I mean, women, we're all about supporting one another and women empowerment and things like that. But people say it all the time, but then they don't have the actions to back it up. But yesterday was a display that those women came out to support you.
You don't mess with lactating moms.
No,
you do not mess with. I mean, that's
squirted in the face with breast milk.
I'm telling you, that's like a llama mama. You know what I mean? That saying, which I just learned that terminology. That's like, I'll be really nice to you when you're nice to my people, but I'll kick you in the face if you're not. That's a lactating mom. You know,
it's just you don't come between a mom and her baby.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
And I felt so bad when I saw you, leaving and you're trying to gather the 2 4-year-olds. You've got the baby on your hip. And I'm just like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was just like, no. Even the manager could have come up to you and say, you know what, I'm really sorry about this. Let me help you out. Is there anything we can do? But there seemed to be no sympathy from not the cop, the manager.
Nobody.
Look, little boy, little lifeguard boy, you're going to get a pass this one time, but do not ever, 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 ever kick out a breastfeeding mother. Now you know the law. You cannot do that. I think
it's somewhere in the body cam, he says, she acts like she doesn't have to listen to me.
And then someone also said something about you covering up the baby with the blanket.
The officer said you can't sit around with your tits out. If you're going to feed your baby, go under a blanket.
So it's 100 degrees. It's Texas summertime. He wants you to put a blanket over you and the baby. Then some mom would see you and say, "Oh, I'm calling CPS. She's smothering that child with the heat." Yeah. You can't do that. And some babies don't like to be covered up when they're breastfeeding.
No, my guy kicks me in the face. He puts a toe in my nose. Yeah. I mean, it's just he's squirmish. Yeah,
and sometimes they kept saying, "Oh no, I heard she had both of her breasts out." You know what? I've been around women who have been breastfeeding, and some of the babies, they reach over and play with the other titty, or they kick the other side of the bra off. I mean, it's everyone is sexualizing it. Yeah, is the problem.
Yeah,
and it has nothing to do with sex at all.
Not at all. I'm like, hey, look, I do not have enough confidence to whip these bad boys out. Mm-hmm. Okay, I've breastfed for the past 4 years nonstop. Right. My first one until he was 3.5, until I got pregnant with this guy.
3.5.
Yes, girl. So these things are not hottie totties. You know what I mean? Man. I'm not walking around topless, not even at home.
3 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, at 3, he should just go, I want some.
Yeah.
And get it for himself.
Pretty much. I mean, it was so bad that he was YouTubing and breastfeeding at the same. And I might have a picture of that. I could probably send you over.
That is so funny.
Yeah, he was YouTubing and breastfeeding at the same time.
It's like you're eating and watching a show.
Hey, why not?
Yeah.
Right? You can. Why can't I,
Mom? Exactly.
Yeah, I'm serious. So, I mean, it's not taboo for me to do it. My family's used to it. You know what I mean? That's like, it is what it is. I go with whatever
Yeah, I'd rather you pop your titty out and feed your baby than your baby go ape shit and just start throwing stuff and you know what I mean? Because babies, when they're hungry. They don't think about anything else. They don't care where you are.
I say it all the time. Toddlers are assholes.
Oh, God, they're the biggest assholes. They
that
really
is like,
are.
Toddlers are assholes.
Yes.
They want it. And he's not a toddler. But still, I mean, that's how they are. They're demanding and they're selfish.
Yes. I mean, it's all about them. That's part of being a toddler. But in this case, it's not even, it's a natural need that we all have, which is to eat.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you get kicked out. I know your parents are just so proud, aren't they?
They are. My husband wants
like
my husband. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. That crossed my mind as I was leaving the park. I'm like wiping my tears away. And I'm like, what is my mother-in-law gonna say? Yeah. Is she gonna think what I did was wrong? Because I felt that when he made me leave, I felt for a moment like, did I do something wrong?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I'm like wiping my tears, and I get home, and my 4-year-old says, Papa, that cop told Mama she can't feed Max, and I lost it. You would have thought my dog died. Okay, I was like, huffing and puffing because my 4-year-old was like, why can't you feed Max? I don't understand. Why do we have to leave? Why can't you feed Max? So that's when my husband was livid.
I'm sure.
He was like, how about you post that on that mom's group you always talk about?
Moms of Galveston County. Girl. They can make or break you on that one, okay? They have to ruin your career.
I'm telling you. That's what he said. And I was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. You know, almost like reaching out. Like, what do you guys think? What would y'all do kind of thing? Right. And boy, those moms came with a vengeance.
Yeah, they are some little mommy thugs on that group, you know? Okay, so you leave. So what happens later on that day, or what happens the next day? Do you get contacted by anyone?
That night, I think it was NBC, maybe ABC. One of the networks called and said, "Hey, I've gotten your story. I want to, can I talk to you?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." Right. They were like, "Are you going to be in this nursing tomorrow?" And I'm like, "A nursing?" I didn't realize there was a mom was like setting up. Yes, I was like, okay, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to be there. Right. I'm going to stand my ground with all the rest of them. That's the reason they're going.
So what did the people who work at the water park say when you guys were out there protesting?
Absolutely nothing. No one came out. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of people and like nice. I mean, these were no longer the staff members. I'm sure they were higher ups. They had to have been.
They had to be with that incident.
They had decent clothes on. Right. No more red t-shirts because all of them wear those red t-shirts. No, they didn't have those on. So I was like,
because they had a feeling. I'm sure news stations had contacted them already. So they knew.
Yes.
So none of them said anything. So have you been? I saw that the city of Texas City did release, have a press release. They released a statement, or if you can even call it that.
No, it's generic.
Yeah, very generic.
Yes. So I think they just plugged my name in there. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Let me just blink. Put that name there.
Acknowledging that this happened to a person.
Yes.
So you still have not heard anything from the city of Texas City?
No, I haven't.
Well, I saw on Facebook that Schlitterbahn has given you, a free pass to come?
Yes, I've had like 3 Acres food truck, a mom at a boutique, all these things, and then I hear the negative side of it, like a freeloader. Bitch, I work 2 jobs.
Right. And she's still breastfeeding.
I work 2 jobs.
Right.
I'm educated. I'm a registered nurse. I don't need anybody giving me any handouts. Do I appreciate the gesture? Absolutely. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't comment or respond to those messages because I'm like, not today, Satan. Yeah. Not today.
Yeah. We call those internet thugs because they get King Kong balls when they're behind their phone screen or their keyboard, but they wouldn't say that to your face.
Yeah, no. I'm like, and it's so grateful to know that, there's other moms, Texas City moms who own businesses who are like, you know what, come here, do this. I'm going to offer you that, you know. Like I told my brother-in-law earlier, even if I don't take them up on their offer, I appreciate the gesture.
Because as a woman, seeing a mom cry and it has something to do with her baby, it's a sisterhood that we all have, and we would do anything for our kids. And I mean, watching you have to gather your baby and the other 2 kids, and just a cop is telling you, making you leave, and they let you walk out by yourself.
Yeah, I did.
I was like, oh my God. Like that's why people are reaching out, because everyone else realizes how, one, it was wrong, how insensitive they were about it. Yes. You know what I mean? And then the simple fact that no one has even contacted you.
No, they haven't. No one's apologized or reached out or said anything.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you can see the conversation. You can see and hear the conversation that the police officer, the manager, and the lifeguard were having. Yes. None of them knew what the hell to do.
No, I mean, did we follow protocol at the Nestler Center? I mean, when she didn't know what to do next, is protocol to call the police?
No,
probably not.
I don't think so.
I'm sure there's somebody on call. There's a higher up that you can reach out to, like 800 number or something. I don't know.
Right.
Something to know. Hey, we have a breastfeeding mom here. What are we supposed to do?
And that's what I was telling producer James. Or you know what? How about if she came up to you and didn't make a scene and say, "Ma'am, I understand you're breastfeeding your baby, and you've got 2 little ones here. Let's just say someone was uncomfortable. How about you can come in my office and do that. We'll watch the 2 little ones," or something other than calling the police like you've committed a crime.
Yes.
Yes.
Address the fact that I made somebody uncomfortable.
Right.
Asked me to get out of the pool. I mean, anything like that. And people talk about bodily fluids. Listen.
No way.
People at a public
pool.
Yes. Oh my God.
That people piss in and little kids slobbering and throw up in. Ew.
People don't shower before they go to the public pool.
I didn't see that. They said about, wow.
Out of everything in a public pool, I think breast milk would be like
a
welcome change.
A scant amount of breast milk.
I don't care if you poured 5 gallons. It's still better than 18 little kids' piss strip.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to go back to the fact that breasts are for feeding children. They are not. They're not supposed to. They're not created to be sexual. They're there as a source of nourishment for a child.
Neither are kneecaps, but some of those are sexy.
Just turn your mic off, okay?
Yes,
don't say anything else on your mic, okay? And edit that out, because don't nobody want to hear your stupid ass comment. No, I'm just kidding. So, I when I saw the story, I was like, oh my gosh, let me reach out to her, and I want to hear this, because everyone was going crazy, and I'm like, no, I hadn't even heard about it. I'm like, okay, let me see this video, and I'm like, are they serious?
Yeah.
Like that is Texas City Police should be embarrassed.
You totally did not do yourself justice by post.
No.
Somebody that reviewed that video did not watch it till the end.
No, because it looked really bad.
You totally lost every ounce of respect you had with the comments that you made at the end.
Yeah. And then he said tits.
Yeah.
Like, that's so unprofessional. You're like, what? No, he should not be allowed to say your tits.
Yeah.
Not while he's on the clock. You know what I like? Who does that? There was when we started this conversation, I said there was a lot of ignorance, but there was a lot of fucking stupidity going on there, and it just didn't get him. I mean, it was like 3 monkeys all looking at each other, trying to figure out a little puzzle. I don't know, here.
Yeah.
I don't know, here.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Missy, is there anything that you want to say in regards to the incident that happened to you?
Good or bad? I'm glad the good that came out of it. People all over the world is seeing it, standing up. People are feeling empowered, hopefully, knowing that, I can do this. And yes, even if they didn't know the laws, now they do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, in the bad, I tell people when I'm getting some negative comments, I'm like, thank you for your support, good or bad.
Yeah.
Thank you for shedding light on it,
Yeah.
And I can't possibly thank all of the women and men who have gone to bat for me. I haven't gone on fighting with people on Facebook because they are not worth my time.
Not at all.
But people have.
Yeah.
Friends have, are going berserk on people,
right.
Standing up for me for my character. And I appreciate that. And I don't know how to thank everyone for going to bat for me.
Right. You know what? Your character should not even come into question in this situation because it had nothing to do with your character.
Right.
You were just being a mom.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, we thank you for joining us. Yay. And the bitch please of the week goes to the whole entire goddamn city of Texas City. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.